values, the norms that we enjoyed in the past are all challenged. It is being challenged by the present parents. It is being challenged by the legal system. It is challenged everywhere. Oftentimes, we say, why do we do this? You inculcate in the students some values at school, and by the time they get home, it is reversed. Because there is this pull between the teaching at school and the actions in our society. What I want to say to our stakeholders, I'm going to ask you, make a note of what it is that you value about education. What is it that you value about education? Whether you're an individual, whether you're a business, or a group of people, make a note of what it is that you value about education. And it's not only good enough to value what you think about education. It is to act upon the values that you have about education. Oftentimes, we can talk about the things that we can do. Whether we're in our personal lives, but this time we are focusing on education. If you say as a company, because this is what she brings to the table about education, this is what she does about education. Stand up, man. I know you're in here. Stand up, man. I don't want to think of that. Please stop her. An executive member, but she comes to school and sweeps every morning, showing that she cares, she acts. I am challenging you. I am challenging your stakeholders. Don't just write down what you value about education. I want you to act on what you value about education. And finally, self-evaluation is very hard to do. It's difficult. Self-evaluation. So those things that you write down about education, and if you have not done it yet, start now. Reflect on those things, those values. Every evening when you go home, say to yourself, stakeholders, all stakeholders, the police, the firemen, the business people, the garbage collectors, the municipalities. What is it? Reflect on them. Reflection is hard to do, but reflect on them. And if you are not doing anything, get up. Get up. As stakeholders, we challenge you, our young people.
At this time, we're going to be having our devotion. I'm going to ask Mr. Gilsey and Ms. Dale, the principal of YWCA, to come at this time to do the invocation.
Good morning. Is this a good day? Yes. We want to say, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. While we get the technical things out of the way, we just want to thank you for having us this morning and hope that today will be a wonderful day in the rest of your lives.
Okay, we do nothing without inviting the presence of the Lord, and so we're going to have our devotion, starting off with the song, For God is an Awesome God. He is.
From
Now, Mr. Small had asked us to get up and stand up as stakeholders. We're going to get up, stand up, and participate for our Creator. Now, I like doing this song, especially at PTAs, because we get the parents, everybody involved. So you're going to repeat after me. Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
And 2, 1, 2. Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Your life brings me to sing.
Your life brings me to sing.
I'll praise you all my days.
I'll praise you all my days.
Perfect in all your ways.
Burn away.
Hail Jesus, you're my Lord.
Hail Jesus, you're my Lord.
I will obey your word.
I will obey your word.
Want to see your kingdom come.
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 Mama will your kingdom.
Hey, Lion of Judah.
Mama will pull you up.
Hey, Lion of Judah.
I want to see your kingdom come.
I want to see your kingdom come.
Mama will your kingdom.
Can we praise the Lord? Praise the Lord. Can we praise the Lord? Praise the Lord. Happy to be here today. I'm happy to be here today. And as we worship, we are going to put ourselves into a worship because God dwells in our praises. Amen.
Majesty, worship His majesty. Unto Jesus be glory, honor, and praise. Majesty,
Bethphage and Bethany of the Mount of Olives, he sendeth forth 2 of his disciples, and said unto them, Go your way into the village, over against you, and as soon as ye be entered into it, ye shall find a colt tied, whereon never man sat, loosing and breaking. And if any man say unto you, why do ye this? Say that the Lord hath need of him. And straightway he will send him thither. And they went their way, and found the colt tied by the door, without in a place where two ways met, and they loosed it. And certain of them that stood there said unto them, what do we loose in this colt? And they said unto them, even as Jesus had commanded, and they let them go. And they brought the colt to Jesus, and cast their garments on him, and he sat upon him. And many spread their garments in the way, and others cut down branches of the trees and strawed them in the way. And they went before, and they that followed cried, saying, Hosanna, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Blessed be the kingdom of our father David, that cometh in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. And Jesus entered into Jerusalem and into the temple. And when he had looked around about upon all things, and now the eventide was gone, he went out unto Bethany with the 12. Here ends the reading of the portion of God's holy word. We honor by saying, thanks be to God. I stop there. As the deer panted for the water, so my soul longeth after thee.
Okay. Could you be seated if you can? And permit me to take up a space over this side. Because okay. What we want to look at today is a theme that says selected to serve. Selected to serve. And the sub-theme, lessons from a donkey. Selected to serve, lessons from a donkey. You know that this week is Holy Week. Yes. And it started on Sunday with Palm Sunday, where we look back at Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. But before we go any further, can you think of any other stories in the Bible that involve donkeys? Yes. Balaam's donkey. And Balaam's donkey is one that actually spoke to the man, didn't he? Balaam was donkey spoke to Balaam because he was trying to get him to do something that wasn't right. Any other donkey story? Samson used a jackass jawbone as a weapon. That donkey was dead, but he was not useless. That donkey was dead, but not useless. Any other story in the Bible about donkey? Joseph, where you find that? I was looking for it this morning and I couldn't find it. Matthew and Luke, Joseph and Mary. You sure? Yes. Because I was looking for it this morning. I said they went to Bethlehem. But look for the exact scripture while I'm here and tell you. Because I looked in Matthew this morning. I didn't find a donkey. I looked in Luke this morning. I didn't find a donkey. But maybe you're right. Maybe I overlooked the donkey. But we are looking at lessons from a donkey. Jesus said to his disciples, go and pull that donkey and bring it to me. Did Jesus own that donkey? So how could he dare to send his disciples to pull that donkey and bring it to him? Jesus, what you're saying that? He's all powerful. Jesus has authority. I remember there's a passage in the Bible that says, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Now, any one of us are part of the earth? Yes. Any one of us? Yes. That tells you what? We belong to him. We belong to him. And if we belong to him, can he send us somewhere? Yes. Can he tell us or ask us to do anything? Yes. Jesus can, because we belong to him. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The donkey did not belong to Jesus. Another thing about the donkey, was the donkey an old donkey? Why we say that? The scripture says he has never been ridden on, and that he was a colt. The donkey was young. Any young people in here today? Some of us are young. Some of us are not so young. And a lot of us are young at heart. So, we're not calling anybody donkey, I want to make that very clear. But we're taking lessons from the donkey. The donkey has never been ridden. There were people around who thought maybe the donkey was not yet ready for service. Wasn't there? Because Jesus anticipated that when they come to pull the donkey, someone would say that, what are you doing? Where are you going? And he anticipated because he said, if they ask you, or did he say when they ask you? If they ask you, but it was more a when than an if. If they ask you, why are you doing that? Tell them what? Tell him that the master had need of it. The who has need? Master. The who has need? Master. Did they talk about the owner of the donkey? No. They talk about somebody that is bigger than the owner of the donkey. The master. The master has need of it. And so, even though people may have thought that the donkey was not yet ready for service, if the master says it, then it is so. The master has need of it. I think I have 30 more minutes left. Is that so? No, sir. Let us accelerate what we are saying. What about us today? What about us today? Can we take some lessons from the donkey? What if you are uncommitted? You have never made a move towards the Lord. Can the Lord ask you to serve? The Lord can ask you to serve whether or not you are committed to him. I remember there was one man in the Bible that not only was he not committed to God or Jesus, he was persecuting Jesus. He was persecuting the followers of Jesus. And then, while he was on the road to Damascus, there came a voice from heaven and a light, and it says, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? So even if you're going in one direction and the Lord is going to another direction, the Lord can use you. Let us take that lesson. The Lord can use you even if you're not committed. What if you are young? What if you are young? Can the Lord use you when you are young?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the Lord can use you when you are young. The Bible says the call came to Jeremiah when he was only 7 years old. Anybody here who is still 7 or less than 7? You're still 7. I'm glad that you're disguising your age. Yes, the Lord can use you. And there are many instances where that you have seen on YouTube where 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds are being used by God. God is no respecter of age. God is no respecter of age. He can use you whenever, wherever. What if you have never served in that role before? What if you have never served in that role before? The donkey had never been ridden. The donkey don't know what it is to have a weight on its back. Yet the Lord called it. What if you have never been used in that role before? Can the Lord use you in the role that He wants to use you? Yes, that is a word. Because Jesus does not necessarily call the equipped. But what He does is that He equips the called. When He calls you, He gives you the equipment that you need. He gives you the power that you need. He gives you the wherewithal, anything that you need to use. What if you're serving in another capacity already? Can the Lord use you in the capacity where He wants you to use? The Lord can use you in a new capacity, in a different capacity. And when the Lord calls you, He will give you the strength that you need. A lot of us are saying that we are at our wits' end, we are overburdened, we can't do no more. Until the Lord calls us to do something extra. Sometimes it is that you need to leave what you're doing now because you have become too comfortable, used to. And the Lord has something more for you. You have been selected to serve in some capacity, or you will be selected to serve in some capacity. Jesus wants you. He wants you, He needs you, and all you need to be doing is to be there and to be willing to follow where the Master has you to do. Take it today, lessons from a donkey. The donkey was there. The donkey was available. Jesus used that donkey. Can Jesus use you today? Thank you. We're just going to close with prayer, and then we'll hand over to the moderators.
Let's pray. Let's stand for prayer. Oh, gracious Lord, we are calling up on your magnificent name this morning. Your name, O God, that is above all other name. There is none like you. There is none beside you. There is none that can contend with you. You alone is King over all the earth. As we are here this morning to be used for your glory. And as the gentleman just mentioned, the donkey, Lord, we are here not as donkey, but as your creator, your creation, to be used for your glory. We are saying to you this morning, O King, that we are available to be used for your glory. Let your glory be seen through us, in us.
Father God, as we're beginning this session today, encamp it round about us, O King. Take full control, mighty God, of every situation and every circumstances. Gracious Lord, every person that is a part of this meeting, you know their mind, their heart, and we give it all to you, knowing, oh God, that you are more than enough. And there's none like you, sweet Jesus, that can heal the broken heart and set captives free. Father God, each of us is from a school and represents a school. And Lord, you see the troubles of the nation, the troubles that are in the school, mighty God. You see the things that are affecting us. But God, we still know that you're more than enough. Hallelujah. Hey, take full control this morning. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much, YWCA, for and Jose Marti, thank you for conducting such a meaningful devotion. You know, just commenting on devotions. You know, the devotion was extended, and I was thinking there, should we ask him to cut it short, or should we let him continue? The fact is, stakeholders, it is extremely important that our young people be exposed to the values of their religion. Yes, ma'am. It is extremely important, regardless, whatever or wherever you worship, it is important that our young people are exposed. And I say this, when I was growing up, there was no question of whether you go to church. You had to go to church. And when I was going to church, I would pass the Rastafari church where they were having church too. There was always church, and all the young people were attending church. When you go to church today, very few young people are there. And therefore it translates into some of the issues that you're having at school. What I know, that when you're exposed to the values of church, whichever church you attend, when those students come to school, we spend less time trying to correct deviant behavior. Stakeholders, especially the ministers in here, I'm going to challenge you to get a crusade out. We have to get up sometimes out of our pretty churches and go on the roadside. Get those people back. Minister to them. So that when they come to us at school, our task becomes more bearable. That is what is missing. A significant aspect. When children, you notice them, where we have devotions available? Very quiet, paying attention, no walking up and down, respect for others, because this is what happens. You learn in a church, you come to school, and you don't have that to worry about. So I challenge you, and this is why we have a stakeholders meeting. I challenge those ministers who are here, those people who are in the churches, make sure that you get your crusade going to get the young people back so that they can learn the values and norms so that we can have a softer and a more gentle society. It's a little bit rough right now, so we have to, and that is why we have this, to remind us of the things that we care about education. At this time, I want to welcome everyone that is here, and I'm going to be identifying some individuals that I will recognize. First of all, I want to recognize those individuals on TV land. We are live streamed right now by Suncrest Show. Could you pronounce it for me? Saudi Crest. We are being live streamed by Saudi Crest on YouTube at this time. So all those individuals on TV land, welcome. We want to, at this time, welcome our MP, Miss Denise Daly. Could you please put your hands together for Miss Daly? When she speaks with us, she will tell us about her portfolio. It is so long and so huge. She will tell us about her portfolio when she gets here. At this time, I want to welcome among us our mayor, His Worship the Mayor, Councilor Norman Scott, the lady, Charming, who has to supervise all of us in this region, our beautiful Mrs. Sophia Forbes Hall, Director of our region. We want to welcome especially our Education Officer, Territorial Officer, the person in charge of the best QEC in Jamaica. Can I say that again? The best QEC in Jamaica without apology. Mrs. TRACY-ANN LYNCH. Thank you. Then we have in the audience here, I asked him to come and study until he said he likes to just sit back, but I'm going to pick him up now. Please stand up. Our Senior Education Officer, Mr. Floyd Kelly. Please stand. So you see, you're under the car high. You should be sitting up here. Then we have Mrs. Fiona Webb, Senior Education Officer. Mrs. Fiona Webb, Senior Education Officer. Mrs. Stephanie Webb Parker, Senior Education Officer. Yes, she was working. Can I recognize the heads of units in the Ministry of Education? Could you please stand if you're all the heads of the units in the ministry? Could you please stand if you're here? Yes, clap them, clap them, clap them. Thank you very much. Are there any other education officers who I did not mention? If there are any others, or can I have all the education officers and head of unit please stand? Everybody, all of the education officers, Mr. Taylor and everybody, please stand. These are the people who will pressure every day to get the business done. These are the people who get the business done. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We love you. Can I ask the members of the regional team? Sorry, I just did that a while ago. The chairman of the various schools. If you're here, please stand so we can recognize you. The chairman of the various schools. Please stand. Oh, I see my batchmate from Michael. I won't tell them what here. Doc, I won't tell them what here, Doc. Yes. Now I'm going to ask the board members to stand. The board members who are here with their chairman, please stand. The individuals who are tasked with the responsibility, thank you very much, of running these institutions. And I now ask the principals to stand. All the principals of the institutions. The principals to stand. And the vice principals now, please. The vice principal is here. I am sure, yes, we have the vice. Are you think of them? Are you thinking? All right? Now that you have mentioned all those now, the various stakeholders, from the army, from the police force, from the businesses, all the stakeholders, the PTA, will you all please stand so we can recognize you? All the agencies, please stand. Clap them hard, man, clap them hard, yes, man, clap them. Thank you very much. Do we have any parents inside here? Do we have any parents? If we have any parents, could you please stand? Our parents, please stand. We have to recognize you. We just stand out. All right, the two men, please stand up. Don't sit down. The two. Clap them harder. Thank you very much. When you're not present, we kill you. So now that you're here, we have to recognize you. Welcome. You don't know how important you are. It is so difficult. Every time you send for the parents, all you see is the mothers crying and grandma. Crying. The argument, they're no business. So two gentlemen who have turned up, we appreciate you very much. The reason why we are here, our students, please stand and let us clap our students. All the students, the reason why we are here. Let's clap them. Thank you very much. And if we have our teachers here, our teachers who are not principals and vice principals, could you please stand? All right, clap them. Yes, Monsieur. Thank you very much. These people are standing there. They are at the forefront of the fight. They are at the forefront of the fight. I love my teachers. They are at the forefront of my fight. And therefore, I want to thank you very much for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you all to this very, very important activity. Very important activity to remind us of our roles and our responsibilities in educating our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Swan. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, sir. You did a great job. At this time, let us welcome Spanish Town infants with an item. Spanish Town infants with an item. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. And the platform will be on, and the child shall lead us. Give it up for Spanish Town Infant School. Beautiful, beautiful items. Beautiful. I see some of you are ready, to get up and come down here, And I hear somebody raising this hand. Nobody cut it. Nobody trim it. It is a what? You are ready for church, but guess what? That is also important, but we need to move on. Beautiful. Give it up again for Spanish Town Infant. Yeah, man, I'm born out outside the evil this morning. Yes, beautiful. At this time, let me invite Mr. Kevin Wittick, the interim principal of Jonathan Grantine, to just come now and do the introduction. So Wittick, give a round of applause as he comes. The interim principal of Jonathan Grantine School.
Thank you, sir. I wonder why Dr. Welton Small is the chairman of this noble QEC. Actually carried out half of my function this morning. But I beg of you moderators, and by extension you all, for me to acknowledge all the protocols that are already exist. I still want to mention a few people, because it is my duty, of course, to do the introduction. And so I will carry this through.
Old age because of stress. When I look to see, you think it is easy? Every parent, when they have children at home, can't wait to see them go to school. You see Easter coming, they can't, they must be saying, Lord God, what am I going to do for the few days? And you remember, every student, every household is saying the same thing. And they are ending up in one place. And that one teacher with a 36 in a class who are almost individuals. None of them are the same. And you have to be paying attention to their personality, the individuality, and also to teach each and every one that they can learn. So teachers really have to take up for themselves, including myself. We have to go there and lobby, unite. It is an institution that cannot be divided. I don't want to preach because I'm not the guest speaker, but I'm passionate. And I just want to say to the teachers, no salary can pay you. None. Nobody can get enough to pay you. Because guess what? Don't care what they give you. Literally, if you don't be careful, you give it back to the school. Because when you have sports day, you see that you're not a pom-pom, and you take the school now buying a pom-pom for you. You have to find a way for go sell some little balloons, sell this, or to beg, or to take it out of your pockets. So you're a caregiver, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a guidance counselor, you're everything, and that's why I recommend it. And I know sometimes you don't agree with me, that teachers should, for the first year in college, give them an opportunity, because right now you have to change the program in college to be taught how to deal with guidance and counseling, so that instead of you sending everybody to the one guidance counselor, you identify them properly in the classroom. And if you can help them from there, you help them. But if you can't, you'll be able to send them further. I wish you well. I know it's not easy. And I do not believe our reward is on earth here. It must be in heaven. And I want to tell you, Region 6, I stand steadfast behind you, in front of you, beside you, to make sure that Region 6 is the best region throughout Jamaica. God bless you.
Thank you. Give Member of Parliament, Ms. Betty Stephen, a round of applause. Thank you. At this time, we're going to be hearing from Spanish Town Primary with their item. Ms. Campbell and the team. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. Make Spanish Town Primary feel welcome. Thank you.
So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning. So we have two items prepared for you today. We have a dub poem entitled One Piece, and we also have a dance item called Our Culture from way back then to now. Alright, so please enjoy.
One Piece, what that? No matter with that. One Piece, what that? No matter with that. Let's hear what the Lord will speak. In one piece from His people. Peace, love, and unity. And that one in our community. One piece, what that? No matter with that. One piece, what that? No matter with that. One piece. We tired of the war. We say we tired of the war. We really need the peace. We are going to meet. We really need the peace. We are going to meet. One piece, what that? No matter with that. One piece, what that? No matter with that. One piece, near and far. Mama, she a ball. Say she tired of the war. Just stop the fight and unite. Just stop the fight and live right and have peace. If we try from the east, west, north and south and east, west, north and south. One piece, what that? No matter with that. One piece, what that? No matter with that. Let all the peace makers for a nation called children of God, children of God. Your spirit lives within me, so I walk in your peace. One piece, what that? No matter with that. One piece, what that? No matter with that. Peace will amen. Just stop the violent violence. One piece will amen. Just stop the violent violence. One piece, what that? No matter with that. One piece, what that? No matter with that. One piece, what that?
If you don't like that,
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony, my colleague, Dr. Small, my MP, Ms. Denise Daly, other, well, Regional Director, Mrs. Sophia Hall, and other members of the Ministry of Education. And there are so many of a few here this morning. I'll just call it that all the officers from the Ministry of Education be acknowledged, including Mrs. TRACY-ANN LYNCH. Principals, so many of you. And I'll just round it out by saying the educational fraternity of the QEC 61. Am I correct? Okay. You know, I have to read from a quote from the late, great Nelson Mandela. And he says, education is the most powerful we can use to change the world. And I join with him by saying that's a fact. It is with profound sense of duty and pride that I bring greetings here at this conference this morning. It's Quality Educational Circle 61. I do so not as a politician this morning, but I do so as someone who has been engaged in the educational journey in this noble country, and someone who really understands what a sound education means to a developing world such as Jamaica. And I could go on and speak about this journey, but I'll rest that for another day. This conference comes at a fitting time as the educational fraternity in Jamaica faces a myriad of challenge, and who so much knows about it than you all? Well, all of us. And we are trying our best to make sure that we solve as many as we can, and we do as much as we can. And I want to pause to really salute the fraternity coming out of the COVID experiences where so many children would have been left behind, Director, and the challenge that you are facing in trying to get them back on track. I know it's as a chairman for a couple of schools, I would understand the various challenges. Today's education system, and I speak about the various, well, I should have saluted the various stakeholders. I must apologize because we have the people from the PTA, isn't it so? aren't we? We do. And of course we have several chairmen of boards. Mr. Chairman, and I call the moderators Mr. Chairman and his deputy. The coming together of QE 61 to chart a new court in making sure that every children learn must be seen as a true and faithful commitment. And I salute the chairman of, the regional director, making sure that this meeting, this conference is being held at this time. I just want to pause to make mention of where we are today as a team and where we intend to go as a team. I just want to urge you all to use this conference to reset the educational agenda of St. Catherine and ultimately that of Jamaica, that in the near distance we can boast of a high quality educational system and of the students that have passed through and of the students that are to come. Those who have walked through all the institutions of QE 61, and that would be St. Jago, Jonathan Grant, Osemati, Spanish Town Primary, White Mall Primary, and the infant schools. And I'm not going to leave out the basic schools because although they are not included in this conference today, they are, if we start them right, we can make them bright. And those basic schools are responsible to getting the students to a level where when they come to the primary schools, they are at a stage that they can be accepted. I want to further urge you to support, collaborate, and network to allocate the required resources based on the needs and not on friendship. Let us all band together and transform the educational landscape of St. Catherine and ultimately Jamaica. If we do that, we will make sure that Vision 2030 can be fully realized. And again, I want to salute all of you here this morning for making sure that the education of this country is primary and foremost in our minds. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Norman Scott. Let's give another round of applause. At this time, help me welcome to the microphone Mrs. Sophia Forbes-Hall, Director of Regional Education Services, Region 6. Can we welcome our Director for Region 6? A big round of applause, please.
of Ceremony, Dr. Walton Small and Mr. Roger Creloux, and of course their chairman and vice chairman respectively, Mrs. Denise Daly, Member of Parliament, Mr. Floyd Kelly, our Senior Education Officer, and of course Mrs. Fiona Morris Webb, and Mrs. Stephanie Webb Parker. Let me also greet Mrs. TRACY-ANN LYNCH, the convener for QEC 61, and of course, Territorial Education Officer by way of her substantive post. All heads of unit from the regional office, all education officers, and I gather you're all here, all 7 of you, soon 8. Members of the regional team, chairmen and other members of the school board, please pardon me to pause at this time to recognize each of my chairmen. I dedicate today to them, ladies and gentlemen, because without proper governance or effective governance of our schools fail. Let me welcome Dr. Verona Barnes, Chairman of Treviga Park Infant School. Kindly stand to be acknowledged. A round of applause for her, please. Let me also welcome Mrs. Sylvia Bryan, and she's chairman of White Marl Primary and Infant School. Let us do better than that man for our children. Let me also recognize Mr. Denworth Finnegan, chairman of Jonathan Grant High School. Please step outside. And of course, Mr. Finnegan sits on the boards of management of Jose Marti Technical High School and the Cedar Grove. A round of applause for him. And of course, he once served in the Ministry of Education as one of my colleagues. Let us welcome Ms. Valda Lawrence Campbell from the YWCA. And let me also welcome other board chairmen who have not, I'm not identified because, of course, I wasn't given your names, so I really want to meet you this morning. Please stand. Excellent. We've covered everybody, Tracy. Okay. So let me at this time ask our vice chairman and other members of the board to stand. Excellent. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our representatives of boards of management. All our principals, I gather all our principals are here or they are represented. Could you stand for me, please? All our principals. And QEC 61. All right, so Mrs. Linton Bell from Bright Star Preparatory School, where are you? Not here today? All right, Mr. Jason Scott, Principal Crystal House. Is he represented? I gather he's here. Okay, and Crystal House is not represented today. All right, Dr. Walton Small. Everybody knows Dr. Small. You know Dr. Small, everybody? We fight every day. You know what we're fighting for? You know what causes us disagreement? We want to get Heidel to where it is supposed to be. And he does a good job at that, fighting with me to keep me grounded. Want to also recognize Miss Tony Austin, Principal Heidel Pre and Preparatory School. Is she here? Not here today. All right, so for those of you who know, Dr. Reverend Ankle proceeded on retirement, and so he's on leave prior to retirement. And in his stead, representing the Jonathan in our monthly meeting, your senior education officer, Mr. Floyd Kelly, he struggles to find a response to my question each month. When is this QEC going to have their stakeholder meeting? And in fact, I am seeing, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of preparation has gone into this. And so for all of you, the executive members, my team at the regional office, our MP, and of course our mayor, and importantly our convener for the QEC, I'm indeed extremely grateful that you have brought us to the end of the road for this year. We can indeed ignite chance through collaboration. And that's the theme here today. Yes? Or change, I'm sorry. Through collaboration. Is change important? Extremely. Do we continue on the same trajectory that we have been going? Are we proud of ourselves as educators? Are we proud of the outputs, the results of the education sector? Are we? Some of us may say no, and I gather most of us will say no, because we have better plans for ourselves, for our students, for our teachers, yes, and for our educators at the regional office. And so that's what today is about. It's about having a conversation about education. And so your convener will come later on to share with you the data set that we use to determine your progress as a QEC in terms of teaching and learning. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, that is what school is about. School is about teaching and learning. So we do well at many things, and that's good. Yeah, we championed Heidel's victory last year, didn't we? Yes, we championed Schools Challenge Quiz with St. Jago. We championed All Together Sings with Old Harbour outside of the QEC, and we could go on and on. We championed the discipline in some of our prominent high schools. Some are here with us. We champion organization, we champion structure, and all of that is tantamount to the result of teaching and learning. The Quality Education Circle, ladies and gentlemen, is a hallmark of the Jamaica Teaching Council. So you should be all aware of the Jamaica Teaching Council, an agency of the ministry which was established, yes, with its primary mandate to professionalize the teaching, I call it fraternity. What that means is, outside of teachers being qualified, and by the way, you are aware that Jamaica boasts the most qualified teachers anywhere in the Commonwealth and Caribbean. So we don't have a qualification and training problem in this country. We definitely don't. So the Quality Education Circle was developed as an initiative to ensure that we share, and it's simply put, yes? So that we share competencies, yes? So that we share resources, and let me say that again, resources. So you have an excellent lab, yes, for the sciences or for the ICTs, but your 2,000 or 1,500 children use it, yes? And those children outside of the QEC, or within the QEC, outside of school, never ever get a chance to even see that first world lab that you boast. That's what we're talking about when we talk about sharing, yes? So the QEC is expected to be a learning community, yes? And in order for it to be a community, we must have what it takes to share, which is the will, the will. So you boast 97% in mathematics. Congratulations to St. Jago. But your high school friends next door don't have the privilege of the excellent, perhaps, expertise, labs, beautiful things that you have. Do we have a responsibility to our neighbor? We've been learning that from our children, that we have a responsibility, yes, not just to ourselves, but to our neighbors. And so that's what QEC is all about. QEC is all about sharing expertise. It's about ensuring the sustainability out. Because after all, education is everybody's business. Yes? We are committed as a sector, yes, to providing the business sector with a competent workforce. That's our commitment. So if we're committed to doing that, then we must have dialogue with the business sector. We also must have a conversation with the church, because there's no education without peace. And the church, yes, the church's hallmark, the church's objective is to ensure that humans exist in a peaceful, it's a business. That's what it is. So if we have 200 children at the end of grade 11, and there's a mere 20% pass of children, passing 5 subjects and more, you have to give an account for the 80% rather. And if you don't give an account for the 80%, we lack integrity to speak on education. So we must be honest about what we turn out. So when we talk about trust and we talk about honesty, that's really what it is. Yeah? So this is not a country like Grenada the other day that was struggling to pay its teachers and pay its educators, including people like me, because they just didn't have the money after COVID. We never as a country struggled with that. And so we have to thank God for the progress that we have made economically as a country. We can do better for ourselves. We have bright children. We have innovative teachers. We have excellent school leaders. And we have a strong governance arm in the form of our school boards. Ladies and gentlemen, let us be honest about the quality that we turn out, because at the end of the day, that's really what we will be judged for. Have a great day, everybody. This is the region that inspires and nurtures greatness. Oh, I think everybody knows Hayden is not a private school, I guess. You don't know? Oh, my God. So let us put our hands together and welcome the newest members of our family, Hayden High School. And I suppose this is the official welcome of Hayden, right? Yes. Excellent. It takes too long to have a QEC meeting, and that is why we're at the back end of that. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming again. Stay with me. This is the region that inspires and nurtures greatness. And I'm doing better than that. This is the region that inspires and nurtures greatness. Have a good day, everyone.
Let's give it up again for our regional director, Mr. Soka. Thank you so much, Madam Director. We're going to have an item now from Jonathan Grant High School, and then after that we will be having an overview of schools operations by Mrs. TRACY-ANN LYNCH, our convener. Very important presentation. So Jonathan Grant, are you ready? Okay, let's give it up for Jonathan Grant.
In the middle center.
When you see me at home
another round of applause. At this time, please help me welcome to the microphone Mrs. TRACY-ANN LYNCH, our convener and the territorial officer out of Region 6, and the convener of QEC 61 to make her presentation. Mrs. Lynch.
I've been looking at the beginning, our governance structure, governance and accountability structure in schools, in the QEC, in terms of the formation of our boards of management. I've been looking at the NEI ratings of the schools in the QEC, in particular the public schools. I've been looking also at the support that the Ministry of Education gives to schools. And let me pause right here. I remember going to a board meeting, and I remember a board meeting asking, a board member asking the meeting, how does the ministry support the schools? And so I found that question really, puzzling. And so today, I will give you more information as to how the Ministry of Education supports all the schools. So we'll be looking at financial support, psychosocial support, support for teaching and learning, infrastructural support, and how staff support, human resource. The main focus of this presentation, though, is to look at the academic performance of all our schools in the QEC, at the primary and also at the secondary level. So we'll be looking at some data sets. I want you to bear with me, stakeholders. We'll be here for a little while, and I want your undivided attention, because all of us have a part to play in school improvement. And also, lastly, we'll be looking at the achievements and the awards of our schools. We have a lot to brag about. We have a lot to be excited about, and we want to share that with you. So let me just say this initially. You see, when I present something that is very good and pleasing, I want to get your response. I feed off your energy. I want you to feed off mine. So I don't want to be thank you applause. I want you to really, really get excited, because a lot of things, exciting things are happening in this QEC. And of course, I want to say at the end, and throughout the presentation, I want you to really think, evaluate what I'm saying. We are going to be having a conversation at the end. And I want you to think about how you can trend. How can you trend? What is your role in trend? All right? So, here we go. And so, as I said earlier, the school boards, all the school boards, the boards of management for public schools are appointed by a cyclical appointment process. And so this process was introduced in 2003 by the National Council on Education, we call it NCE. And through this process, the tenure of school boards in a particular educational area in education, it commences and expires at this, over a 3-year period. All right? The Education Regulation of 1980, Section 70 to 89, outlines the important elements of the school governance framework. And of course, the Education Act of 1980 speaks to the school types, the composition, the constitution, and the quorum of these boards. I mentioned earlier the 3-year cycle, so our school boards began last year, April 1, 2023, and it ends March 31, 2026. All right? And our school boards vary according to type and ownership. And I will tell you what I mean now. So, who nominates the members of the boards? So we have schools at our church schools, schools at our trusts, and of course NCE, the National Council on Education, also nominates some members. of the boards. So we have also, so these that I just listed are the nominating bodies, the bodies that nominate the members of the school boards. We also have electing bodies. The persons who elect are the members of the academic staff or their academic rep on the board. We have the administrative rep on the board and the administrative staff. They elect persons to sit on the board to represent them. We have the ancillary rep on the boards. We have the community rep, Parent Teachers Association rep, and of course, the Old Student Association, which we call the Past Students Association. So we have these persons on the board also, as well as the persons who are nominated. All right? And so, this is a map of QEC 61. The QECs in general are along constituency lines. QEC 61, we call QEC 61 St. Catherine Eastern. All right? And you can see some of the major communities on the map. Lauriston, Greendale, Twickenham Park, De La Vega. It spans along St. Jago Prep, St. Jago High, along the left side if you're coming from Brunswick Avenue, coming around to Jonathan Grant, Jonathan Grant, Jose Marti, Spanish Town Primary, and it goes all the way up to Ferry. All right? We have 8 government schools in QEC 61, and it was 7 before. Highland High is now a part of us. Let us clap them again. In St. Catherine Eastern, we have 1 infant school, Spanish Town Infant, 3 primary schools, and 6 independent schools. We call those private schools. And these are the list of schools, and you'll see them in your program. We also, well, our RD just recognized the Ys, and she committed to give them better service this year. We have Christian House, and we have new Bright Star Preparatory was in QEC 56 prior. Now they're in this QEC because they have moved. All right? And these are our registered independent schools. And this is also a breakdown. Another breakdown. This slide is showing school ownership. So on the left, 7 schools, they are government owned, and well, the government is a part of in all schools. But St. Jago High has background in terms of in the Anglican, the church school. All right. Also St. Jago Preparatory. All right. Now we're looking at schools that were visited by the National Education Inspectorate. And we're looking at the year when they were inspected and also the rating. Now, of all the schools that we start, no, Spanish Town Infant is not inspected by the NEI. They are monitored and inspected by the ECC, the Early Childhood Commission. We have members of the ECC with us today. Now, in 2020, Spanish Town Primary was inspected and they got a satisfactory rating. Do they have room for improvement? Yes, because there are other tiers. So, good and also excellent. So they have a long way to go, but they did not fail the inspection. White Mall Primary, Trinidad Park was inspected in 2017, and they received a rating of unsatisfactory. They were also re-inspected in 2022, but that was not like the regular inspection. That was a COVID inspection where they did not get a rating. So we're still operating using the 2017 inspection, the rating for that inspection. White Mall Primary and Infant, they were inspected in 2018 and they were deemed unsatisfactory. They were also re-inspected in 2022, but that was a COVID inspection. Jonathan Grant High School was inspected last year. They received a good rating, and that is excellent. Jose Marti received in 2019 a satisfactory rating also, and St. Jago High also was inspected in 2020, and they were deemed good. So let us just clap these schools. That's all. Thank you, Doma. Thank you. question, I said to you that some persons, I've heard the question, how the ministry support the school? What is the ministry doing for the schools? I don't see where the ministry is supporting the schools. Not many persons know what we do and how we support. So I thought it important to share with you, our stakeholders, how we support our schools in the region. So I'm going to start with the financial support given. And so we support schools by grants. Schools get grants. And we pay the grants. We give the school these grants at different times in the year. And of course, the slide will tell you the first tranche is paid in June, second September, third January, fourth in May. We also give the schools park grants for needy students. All right? So let us look at this primary school. Let us focus now on how we support the primary schools. So when persons ask you, or they say, the ministry is not doing anything for the schools and they don't see what you're doing, you can know you're now being educated. You can now say, you can now report that we support the schools. So for the regular grant that is paid to the school or given to the schools, it's how it is worked out. The schools are given $2,500 per student. For the schools with less than 120, the enrollment is less than 120 students, they just receive a one-off payment of $300,000 annually. And those are for the schools with less than 120 children or students. For the schools with an enrollment of more than 120, they're paid at a rate of $2,500 per student. All right? Schools also receive a janitorial grant of primary schools of $490,000 annually. A telephone grant of $60,000 annually. For infant schools, there's a park subsidy given of $100 per child per day. All right? And for the most part, we pay 60%. When this total, we pay 60% of what that total is. For grades 1 to 3, the students receive $150 per day. But what you need to note is that we pay out only for 190 days for the year. So you can do the math. All right? For grades 4 to 6, each child is given $200 per day, and it is the same 190 days for the year. Primary schools receive a maintenance grant of $150,000. The cooks receive $592. The school receives for the cook $592,540 annually. There's an apprentice grant of $440,000, and of course, canteen support. Canteen support is given or paid based on need. There's also a water grant given to some schools who have issues with water. Let's now look at the secondary school grants. So, for tuition, the grant in terms of the regular grants, it is $17,000 per child. They get cap grant for material, $14,500 per child. There's a social premium to purchase teaching and learning materials of $2,000 per child. For park subsidy, each child receives $280 per child, and it's also the same as the primary school. Park pays only for 190 feeding days. Secondary schools receive a maintenance grant, ICT grant, STEM grant for science, technology, engineering, and math of $500,000 each per year. TVET grant, that's approved by the ministry, the amount. And of course, we all know that the ministry pays the utilities, light, electricity, and water. Now, since we're dealing with the K-13 strategy, we really support our schools, our students up to grade 13. We provide a sixth form grant of $60,000 per child annually. And of course, there's also an apprentice grant of $440,000 per year. So, that is how basically, there may be more, that's basically how the ministry, how we support, we collaborate with our schools financially. All right, now let us now look at infrastructural and staffing support. And I'm going to list some of the stuff, but it's not limited to these things. It's much more. And if I were to go through everything, we will not leave here today. And I'm sure you want to leave here today. And so, when I look at the infrastructural support, I will basically just touch on maybe last year, this year, over a 1 to 2 year period, how we really invest in our schools, infrastructurally, and in terms of staffing. I already looked at financial. So, for Spanish-owned infants, recently we spent over $7 million to conduct repairs to their absorption pit. The ministry spent over $2 million, almost $2.5 million doing electrical repairs under the critical repairs program, that's for this school year. They also, on the canteen repair program, support program, the school in the next fiscal year. Let's now look at the high schools in terms of infrastructure. Johnson Grant is currently, NET, they have been awarded. NET will be giving them 4 classrooms, and I know they were there 2 weeks ago. Is that what it is?
Actually
2 weeks
started.
ago. So,
Construction has started.
Very good. Can we clap?
Yes.
So there are 2 schools in the QEC that needs to get off shift.
Yes.
Johnson Grant is one, and the other is Spanish Town Primary. I know they're on a program, right, RD? To get off shift. So the process has begun. So Johnson Grant will be given 4 additional classrooms. Is it enough? Maybe not, but it's a start. And I know there are plans in place. Mr. Curlew, and our regional director will meet us shortly. I've seen the schedule to discuss the shift, the transition.
Beautiful.
All right. So you must have heard about St. Jago. Last year we were in the media. So St. Jago received last year their repairs to the admin block, over $10 million to repair that section of the school. In 2019, repairs were done to the old 6th form block. And of course, in the same year, the school received over $2 million for electrical repairs. Jose Marti Technical receives over $7.5 million for repairs to the grade 9 bathroom, and now over $18 million for repairs to the auto mechanic lab, waterproofing of the concrete roof slab of the engineering department. And of course, they receive monies from Tibet to repair the greenhouse and the abattoir. Can we clap? These are some of the extracurricular activities. We know it's not all about academics. We are building children holistically to make them more rounded. And so our schools are encouraged to have extracurricular activities to mold our students, for them to be better leaders. So I'm not going to go through everyone, but just for you to know, our schools have a lot of clubs and societies. And we continue to encourage that. So, we'll pause a bit now and get to the meat of the matter. Need your attention. So when you see things to brag, if you're bragging about something, I want you to clap, I want you to make noise. It's not perfect, but we're trending, and we're recovering smarter. Have you heard that term, recover smarter? Yes. We are recover smarter 2.0. All right? So let's go. So we're looking now at the primary performance, the primary and prep school performance in the QEC. And we're primarily focusing on last year's data, 2023. So let's look. So we're looking at the cohort first in that yellow column. We're looking at the number of students who are at the beginning. They're not ready yet. And we're looking at the students who are developing. And proficient means they are good, they're getting there, they're doing well. And highly proficient means they've mastered. Clear? All right, so Spanish 1 primary, last year, for grade 6, their cohort was 255. Of that number, 12 were at the beginning, 117 developing, and I want us to pay attention because what you find is that many of our students at this level, a big gap, a big piece of the pie is going to be at the developing section. And it is cause for concern. And I want to put out this, I want to call this a disclaimer. What you find 2 years ago, how many years ago COVID was when? When did the COVID? Yes, I want you to recognize that some of these students were affected, even at the high school level. So I want, when we're looking at these grades now, to take that also into consideration and put it into context. Thank you. So, 12 of those students from Spanish on primary were at the beginning, 117 at the developing, 114 proficient, and 8 students highly proficient. Whitemall Primary had a cohort of 43. By the way, these students are now in first form at various high schools, not necessarily in the region. 5 were at the beginning level, 23 at the developing level, and 13 proficient, and 1 highly proficient. Tradiga Park Primary and Infant, 27 students sat the PEP. That's in, by the way, this is mathematics. So you're going to find that mathematics is more alarming than the other subjects. So this QEC, we can say needs help in this area. And it's also at the secondary level too. So for Tradiga Park Primary and Infant, 27 students sat the exam PEP math. 5 were at the beginning, 12 developing, 10 proficient, and none highly proficient. Let's look at the QEC overall. Overall, 325 students sat mathematics. 22 at the beginning, 152 developing, 137 proficient, and 9 highly proficient. That is what it looks like. The first bar, which is the blue bar, depicts the cohort. The one decided, those at the beginning, the gray, developing, the yellow, proficient, and the other blue at the end, highly proficient. You see what is happening? A lot of our students are at the developing. The gray, look at the gray bars. This is what the pie looks like. This is what the QEC looks like. So the highly proficient is the yellow. The beginning is the blue. Look at that big area of the pie. The orange is developing and the gray is proficient. So we have most 47.5% of our students developing. If only they'd have got more time or something. All right? This is the language arts. Same number, same cohort. Spanish on primary, 23 students at the beginning, 100 developing, 126 proficient, 2 highly proficient. Whitemall Primary, 6 beginning, 22 developing, 14 proficient, none highly proficient. Tradiga Park Primary, 5 beginning, 14 developing, 8 proficient, none highly proficient. Overall, in language arts, 34 students were at the beginning, 136 developing, 148 proficient. The language arts is a little bit better than the mathematics, but there's still room, a lot more room for improvement. And this is the bar graph that depicts the data a while ago, the table. This is the pie chart now. And of course, again, the bulk of our students are in the developing section. So we have work to do. And of course, I wish I'd taken the grade 5, but the grade 5 data is almost the same. So, social studies, 8 for Spanish taught at the beginning, 102 developing, 139 proficient, 2 highly proficient. Whitemall Primary, 2 at the beginning, 24 developing, 16 proficient, none highly proficient. Tradiga Park Primary, 3 at the beginning, 13 developing, 11 proficient, and none highly proficient. Overall, QEC for social studies, 139 students are developing and 166 proficient, 2 highly proficient. So in this area, we have more students who are proficient than developing. But there's still room for improvement. And that's what it looks like pictorially. All right, for science, Spanish Town Primary, 2 beginning, 115 developing, 125 proficient, 9 highly proficient. White Mall Primary Infant, they had no students at the beginning level, 23 developing, 19 proficient, none highly proficient. Tredegar Park Primary the same, none at the beginning level, 18 developing, 9 proficient, none highly proficient. And in the QEC overall in the area of science, 2 students were at the beginning level, which is far less than the other subjects. 156 students developing, 153 proficient and 9 highly proficient. And that's what it looks like. Still having almost half of the pie developing. Let's now look at the CSEC. Now I want to first pay attention to this slide. Every year, we ask our principals or schools to send to us their targets from their school improvement plan. Because school is about improvement, it's about teaching and learning. And it's a roadmap to see where we want to go. So we ask the schools to project every year what they hope their passes will be in the subjects, mainly in mathematics and English. So I'm going to be looking at this data. I deliberately put this slide in it to see whether the schools are holding true to what they said they want to achieve. All right? Remember the context, the COVID now, bring it into context for some of the years. All right? Now, in 2021, Jonathan Grant, they set a target for English that they wanted to get 85% pass. And I think they should be commended because they were coming out of COVID. They received 80% pass that year between 2023 and 2025. In that same year, they targeted 50% pass for mathematics, and they received 35%. That was a disappointment, but let me say, I think it was the same nationally for most schools. The math declined that year. In 2023, they set for 2022, they set a target of 85% again, and they received last year. So this target, that 85 right there, that target was set the year before, and last year they received an 83.9% pass in C-section. The mathematics passes improved, but it wasn't where they wanted it to be. They set a target of 50% again, and they received 45.3%. They are improvements in that area. Jose Martino, in 2021, they said that they wanted to get 90% pass in English, A. They received 71.9%, which is not bad either, based on what was happening. In that same year, in 2021, they said they wanted 45% pass in math, they received 24%. Look at 2023. For language, English language, they set a target of 62%, they received 68.1%. Incremental. But in the math, when they did set a target of 21%, they received 31.9%. They were above. So they improved. St. James High set a target in 2021 for 95% pass for English, A. They received 94%. For math, the target was 88%, they received 81%. And I know the principal told me she was very disappointed, but we know what was happening. In 2022, they set a target for 96% pass for English, and they received 96.6%. The target for math for 2022 was 85%, for 2023, sorry, and they received 88.5%. those targets were taken from the school improvement plan. And so they are putting in the work bit by bit. And we must applaud the teachers and the effort of everybody. And I can't leave out the regional team because the regional team is behind, support team. All right? So, what I just mentioned a while ago, this is it. Same data. Same data that was on the slide before, this is the same data, so I'm going to go. And this is the same data. Same data, but more granular. All right? English language. So, pay attention to these slides because I'm going to go to a slide. I already mentioned in our presentation that we want to capture the students, all our students, and I know the ministry's thrust is that all our grade 11 students should be doing should pass or be doing at least 5 subjects in external examinations. That is our mandate. What I find in this QEC is that our principals are they're sticking to that mandate. So they should be registered not only for CSEC, but across any other external examination body. So what you find is that if they don't do CSEC, Math or English, the students are registered for City and Guilds or both. Some students register for both. And the schools ought to be commended for that. No matter, take attention. Good. So, in 2021, Jose Jonathan Grant entered for City and Guilds Math. 60 students sat, 50 were certified. In the following year, 92 sat, 88 were certified. And in last year, 68 sat, 56 were certified. Not bad. Look here, these are things to brag about. Don't want QEC, clap them better, man. No. Because I'm not technical. 84 students sat in 2021, 56 were certified. In 2022, 175 sat, 49 were certified. And last year, 177 students sat math, 86 were certified. That means they passed, right? St. Jago, 62 students. What do you find in St. Jago? Most of these children sit CSEC. All right? So in 2021, 62 students sat, 38 were certified. 69 sat. In 2022, 59 were certified. 117 last year, and 109 were certified. So English language, Jonathan Grant, in 2021, 165 sat, 139 certified. The following year, 192 sat, 167 certified. Last year, 193 and 137 were certified. Jose Marti Technical, in 2021, 72 sat, 20 were certified. 94 sat, in 2022, 74 were certified. 2023, 95 sat, and 17 were certified. Sorry, 75 were certified. You're paying attention. St. Jago, 2021, 34 sat, English language, 15 were certified. 2022, 54 sat, 51 were certified. And in 2023, 82 students sat and 79 were certified. Very good. So remember what I told you earlier? Let's look at the cohort. The cohort means all the grade 11 students at the school at the time. All of them. So for Jonathan Grant, there were 371 students in grade 11. For mathematics, 264 of that entered for math. 116 passed. And you can see some overlap here now. The rest we can presume. 272 entered for City and Guilds Math and 137 passed. And it's commendable because we have students sitting both City and Guilds and CSEC. Jose Marti, 330 students in grade 11, 149 entered for CSEC, 46 passed, but a bulk of them entered for City and Guilds, 71 were certified. St. Jago had a cohort of 277, 208 students entered for math, CSEC, 184 passed, and 125 were entered for City and Guilds, 109 were certified. Look at the data at the bottom. Across the QEC for those 3 high schools, 978 students, 621 entered CSEC, 346 passed. For City and Guilds, 591 and 317 students were certified. And this is the data for the English. The cohort was 978. 765 of those were entered for CSEC English. This is very good. 636 passed English language. 391 were entered for City and Guilds English skills, and 182 of those were certified. Not bad. So, as the officer, I am watching these targets now.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Curley. This is the target set for this year, right, Mr. Whitty? This is the target set for this year. So Jonathan Grant has set a target of, for English, 79%, and for City and Guilds, 90%. For math, 54%, for City and Guilds, 55%. For the artist target for English, for City and Guilds and CSEC, or City and Guilds respectively, 65% and 36%. For math, CSEC and City and Guilds, 42% and 55%. St. Jacob's target for CSEC is 83%, and for mathematics, 86%. So next year when we come, or the following year for stakeholder meeting, we're going to be looking to see if they held true to these targets that they set. Good? We can't discuss the data and just leave it at grade 11. Because we have been pushing the sixth form program. What happens after grade 11? We want to ensure that our students are ready for tertiary. And so we try to ensure that we keep them, and we want to track their progress. Right? So Ms. Alison Brown-Thompson is in charge of the 6th Form Pathway Program, but all of us help to monitor this program. So, for Caribbean Studies, this is how they performed in the 3 years. Jonathan Grant, 43 SAT, 43 in 2021 were certified. That's amazing, Captain Benton, man. In 2022, 34 SAT and 33 were certified. Last year, 42 students SAT and 38 were certified. And let me tell you something, sometimes it's absenteeism. Do you hear? Yes. Why we don't see the 100%? They're absent. All right. Yes. Yes. Jose Marti, 2021 for Caribbean Studies, 76 SAT. 74 were certified. In 2022, 51 SAT and 51 were certified. 2023, 57 SAT, that's last year, and 56 were certified. For St. Jago in 2021, 115 SAT and 110 were certified. In 2022, 89 SAT and 86 were certified. And 2023, 101 SAT Caribbean Studies and 98 were certified. There was a total of 234 students in 2021 who sat and 227 certified. 97%. In 2022, 174 sat and 117 certified. 98%. 2023, 200 students in the QEC across the 3 high schools sat Caribbean Studies, 192 certified, 96%. Clap them. In Communication Studies, Jonathan Grant, 2021, 83 sat, 74 certified. 2022, 84 sat, 78 certified. Last year, 99 sat, 91 certified. Jose Marti, 107 in 2021, SAT, 74 certified. 2022, 88 SAT, 75 certified. Last year, 139 SAT, 109 students certified. St. Jacob, 145 SAT, 137 certified in 2021. 2022, 144 SAT, 127 certified. Last year, 148 SAT, 139 certified. Overall, it is looking good, and you can see the percentages at the bottom. Very good in com studies. In mathematics, yes, nobody was entered. For Jonathan Grant, nobody was entered across over the 3 years. Nobody for St. Jacob, but Ozemaki entered in for integrated math. 27 SAT, 16 were certified in 2021. 2022, 5 SAT, 4 certified, and last year 8 SAT and 2 were certified. All right, so for Jonathan Grant, this is the and Ozemaki and St. Jago, we have here the enrollment. The students who are enrolled in the 6th form program. And of course, at Jonathan Grant, we have students who are enrolled in the traditional 6th form pathway, and we have the technical pathway. The same for Ozemaki and St. Jago sticks primarily to the traditional 6th form. All right? The ministry supports the 6th form program, and I mentioned earlier that they get 60,000 per student per year. And we support the schools in terms of staffing also for the 6th form program. All right? I know Mrs. Brown Thompson and the team, she does a rigid orientation exercise. She's online, she's having meetings. We're having meetings with the parents, with the students, and so on. So a lot of things are happening in regards to 6th form pathway programs. All right? Let us look now, and this is not limited. How does the Board of Management, the board members support? Let me just take this opportunity to really commend my boards. They give yeoman service. They're not paid for it. They go to the school. They conduct their roles professionally. They give up themselves. Let us just clap the boards, please. And they make themselves available. Many of the board members, they have their other jobs, and sometimes they leave their work to serve the school. And we can't help but commend and thank you wholeheartedly for your support. So these are some of the ways in which the boards support the school. They attend all the programs, they represent the school, and they represent the school leaving exercise, the graduation, the career day, you name it. They give spiritual support. They support the recruitment process. They sit and they help to recruit all categories of staff. They help to appraise the principals, and they have fiduciary responsibilities, financial management. So before I mention the infrastructural support that we give to schools, the staffing support, and also financial support, I'm just going to touch on some other areas. It's a very exhaustive list. So myself, the other officers, the other team members who are here, not only in the region, but also in broader ministry, core curriculum, you name it. We give clinical support. Clinical supervision is done in terms of teaching and learning and document management. We visit the schools. Teams visit the school. We do smartness observation. We give feedback. We give technical support at board meetings. We give support in the recruitment process and replacement of staff. We have Mrs. Hedla here from schools personnel. So she's here in that. So we support the ministry through various personnel at the region. The school, through various personnel. We're actively involved in the appraisal of principals. We conduct professional development workshops, whether in literacy, numeracy, and we have persons here from the literacy team, the numeracy team. We conduct more trainings. We conduct trainings in national standards curriculum. We do middle management training. We assess teaching and learning. We do data management workshops and analysis. We do customer service workshops, you name it. Quite a number of training. Don't take away the professional development days. We use agencies such as JTC, Jamaica Teaching Council, and other agencies, conduct training with staff, and you know, because some of you complain that you're saturated. But that is how we support you. Now, earlier on I mentioned that there are 2 primary schools that were deemed unsatisfactory in the last NEI, not the COVID inspection, the last one, 2017, 2018, I think. So, what is it that we have been doing? So you find that the NEI, when they inspect, they have 8 different areas in which they inspect, 8 categories. We call those the key performance indicators. Shortly, KPIs. So when the NEI team comes to the school to inspect the schools, they give ratings under these KPIs. 8 KPIs. Leadership and management, teaching in support of learning, students' performance in English and mathematics, students' progress in English and mathematics, students' personal and social development, the use of human and material resources, provisions, provisions for curriculum and advancement programs, the provision for student safety, security, health, and well-being. These are the 8 strands under the National Education Inspectorate. How did Chediga rate? Look at the ticks. 3 areas were satisfactory and 5 areas unsatisfactory. So you can see that there's work is being done. I must say, work is being done because even the COVID inspection, while there was no rating, there was improvement in many of the areas that were unsatisfactory. I'm telling you, clap them. Mrs. Archibald Ali and I had to commend her the other day when I went to the school to monitor. A lot of improvement in many of the areas. Whitehall Primary and Infant, they are unsatisfactory in 2 areas, that is students' personal and social development. Sorry, they are satisfactory in those areas, and also in, only one area they are satisfactory in, and all the other areas were unsatisfactory. So those 2 schools were under what we call the NSLIP program, the National School Learning Intervention Program. We have moved somewhat past and we're going to recover smarter. This is probably recover smarter 1. All right? So what is it that we're doing with these unsatisfactory schools? What are some of the interventions, some of them that we would have employed? So the schools initially were required to draft an intervention plan, to look at the areas which they were falling down in, and to see what they could do to improve in those areas. Because remember, you have to plan for school improvement. So they were all tasked to do an intervention plan. And the education officer would have monitored those plans. We too would have had to craft our own individual monitoring plan and implementation plan in tandem with their plan at that time. We have also, I mentioned before, training capacity building. We realized that our teachers would have needed retooling and capacity building. So we would have had the various teams and personnel going in, or online too. I know that our special needs unit, led by Mrs. Colin Headley and her team, the literacy team, the numeracy team, they would have worked and had a number of training sessions with the schools, with these schools. And I just mentioned the capacity building to do the national standards curriculum and the different school improvement areas. Some of our schools were placed on LYNCH Park and Whitehall Primary to improve this teaching and learning. They were put on a specialist teaching model where we provided subject teaching. Instead of having one teacher in the classroom, teachers were, like high school model, taught the various subjects so as to improve the teaching and learning. And I mentioned the collaboration with the special needs team just now. And also the literacy and the numeracy team. All right, I will soon be finished. As Spanish Old Infant and Whitemall Primary and Infant. We have the members of the ECC team right here. They were inspected in April 2022. And just like MOE&Y that has 8 standards, the ECC has 12 standards. And they're listed right here. And in all the standards, the schools were deficient. And so the ECC, as well as myself, the region, we are working with these infant schools and departments to improve operations so that they can be certified. Right, Mrs. Rosary? And team? Right. And I must say, the ECC, they're very collaborative. Whenever you call upon them, they respond readily. Thank you so much. All right? For Treniga Park Primary, I must say I'm very pleased that Treniga Park Primary and Infant, they're almost there. They're almost there. Mrs. Rosary told me not to say this because she doesn't want to get into trouble. But Treniga Park is around 70–80% there. For certification. They have been putting on the stops. I know there was a glitch last year with they are so thorough in how they inspect the least little thing that they find wrong. And I'm chastising them to prevent certification. The least little thing. So last year I know that a member of the staff, maybe there were some issues there, and that is the reason why I think that they weren't certified. That's my opinion. But I know that since then, that has changed. So for the next term, Ms. Rosary and team, for next term, is around the corner. Yes. I'm hoping to get the good news that they are certified. I'm getting the compliment.
And the school promised us for the next term.
For the next term.
The last inspection was 2022. For the next term, they promised us 85%. Wow. And then we will move from there towards. So they will. And I'm happy.
And I must thank them because they're very responsive. They're working with me. Thank you so much. And I mentioned these already. I don't want to go. I know some of you are probably getting bored, but just sit with me, please. And so these are some general interventions that we have. Remember, school is not only about teaching and learning. It is the main thrust. Exactly. Right? So we have mentorship programs for boys. We have behavior modification programs. We have enrichment classes. We have SWPBs, which I'll get into later on. So we provide psychosocial support. Right, Mrs. Webb Parker and Mrs. Gordon Hunter? So we give that support because we know that some of the reasons why our children are not learning as they should or at the pace is because there are some deep-rooted issues with our children. And so the team from the region, as well as the guidance counselors, we give support. And so the team from the region provides supervision and support to all guidance counselors. They monitor and evaluate the delivery of the National Comprehensive Guidance and Counseling Program in all the schools in the region. And they supervise the delivery of all the services and programs in the region. And they facilitate the delivery of the psychosocial activities across schools and the region for all stakeholders. The team also promotes the SWPB's framework in schools. All right. At the secondary level, all high schools have at least 2 guidance counselors. At the primary level, primary and infant level, most primary schools, most, not all, have at least 1 guidance counselor. But those primary schools that do not have a guidance counselor, they have a cluster-based guidance counselor, where the guidance counselor is shared, one is shared among certain schools in the same cluster. And that wasn't always the case, you know.
No, that's true.
Can we come in the region or the ministry? That wasn't always the case. There are many primary schools who don't have a guidance counselor. So we are making strides to transform. Forgive me, Ms. Rebecca, I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Let's just go to the last area now. Bear with me. Awards and achievements. Now, if I don't play this enough, my QEC will throw me out. I'm sorry. I don't play this, my QEC will throw me out, and I have a chairman here who will have my head.
Show this one who's going to have my head. And I can't go on this.
To get to this final. So, Spencer, we've lost Serena Cole. We still have Alana Reid. We still have the potential with the conditions being excellent for sub 11, but certainly bringing Veronica Campbell's record of 11-1-3. Again, I think you're spot on, Bruce, because when we look at Alana Reid doing 11.16 to finish 300ths of a second outside the record in the semis, that tells you she is peaking at the right time. She is in prime time shape.
And just
to
to
deliver
say
something special here again. Yes, Maurice?
Less pressure can mean faster times.
Indeed. So Alana Reid, the big favorite in lane 5. Oh, how we would have loved to have seen the clash with Serena Cole, because it's one apiece between them at the moment. The set position. Off they go. It's a fabulous start by Alana Reid. Alexis James of Petersfield gives chase, but Alana Reid steps away from the pack, decimates the opposition. Stunning performance. 10.90. The flash time is historic. Such a new track record, new lifetime best at 22.
And they said she's the under 20, 100-meter world champion. And had did well in the Easter Grace track and field boys and girls champion. They came second. He's disappointed, but he still did well. And it's from which QEC? 61. Okay. The world champion, so which QEC? 61. All right. All right, let's go. Can't leave them out now. Because they're well too. The principal said she's condensed her. It was too much. Too much. So she did a video of everything. Yes.
CSEC pass rates of 91%, 2% increase in grade 1. K pass rates of 97%. Valedictorian Kadeen Brown, 10 grade 1. 100% passes in 8 subjects. 100% passes in 21 K units. 6 of the top 10 places in Jamaica for French Unit 2. Head boy Damari Cohen placed first in French. Malik Phipps, top performer in City and Guilty placing on stage 3. In mathematics, 7 students were among the top 20 in Jamaica. St. James was among 30 schools who placed first in the Caribbean. First place, Mathematics CSEC Regional Award, Chantilly Wilson. First place, CSEC Religious Education, Brianna Douglas. First place, Cape Beeman Unit 2, John Wayne. Fourth place, Cape Beeman Unit 2, Deputy Head Boy, Ron Fagan. School Challenge Quiz Champions Unit. Members, Captain Janine Essa. Winning quiz teams in 1990 and 2008 respectively. 7th place in the 2023 All-Ireland Chess Challenge. And 3rd in the Junior High School Chess Championship. Jalen Chin, last year's National Under-14 champion, was selected to represent Jamaica's junior chess team in November 2022 at the
Robotics champion.
St. James Operations placed 8th in the first technology challenge. Robotics captain of the junior team, Master Van Steener, won the Jamaica's Venus Award and represented Jamaica at the international level of the competition.
International representation.
Exceptionally well in the JCBC festival competitions. Drama, 9 bronze, 10 silver. Speech, 2 merits, 1 bronze, 18 silver, 20 gold. Dance, 1 bronze, 1 silver, 5 gold, 4 national awards. Table tennis, all the 16 girls were named urban champions and were all at
Table tennis champions.
Cricket second place in both Grace Shield and the under 16 competitions. Volleyball boys placed 3rd nationally. Volleyball, the female team placed 2nd in the result. Netball under 14.
Volleyball boys team is going to catch up to a match, final match today.
Michael South won the best shot number in the under 19 category. Track and field, both boys and girls finished 4th in the Easter Grace Boys and Girls Championships. Track and field, there were outstanding individual performances at the national championships, as well as the Curta Games and Pen Games. The head coach for the Jamaica delegation to Harrington was Killian Ober. Demario Prince, silver medal and gold medals. Shepwan Don, silver medals. Abigail Martin, gold. Jalen Dawkins, gold. Brianna Davidson, gold. Kelly Jones, Long jump boys, gold. Demario Prince. Shot put boys, bronze. Shaquan Dunn. 4x1 girls, bronze. Championship of America. Triple jumpers, Championship of America winner Jaden Dawkins. Distance, silver. Championship of America, Abigail Martin. 2023
Diego High School. She relies on excellence and greatness.
In 1744.
As you can see, 100% passes on all subjects. Lastly, my last slide. QEC 61, we are trending. We are about transforming education for national development. And we stand on the 7 pillars of trend. We're not perfect, but we are getting there. So we are trending in terms of governance and accountability, early childhood education, teaching, curriculum, and teacher training. We are building our students for the tertiary sector. We're training in the TVET area, technical and vocational educational training, infrastructure and technology, and in finance. Thank you so much for listening. My question to you, provoking you. The stakeholders who are here, the agencies who are here, you are part of us. We are all family. What can you do to help? What programs can you adopt? You know, think about it. There are many programs. What scholarships you want to give? I'm just provoking you. We're all a part of school improvement. We're all supposed to be trending. Parents, you're a part. Students, you're part of it. We're not going to leave you behind. So think about how and the role that you play in school improvement. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our very, very hard-working convener. Come on, give it up. So the QEC decided that we want to show our appreciation for hard work. So we now invite our deputy head boy, Mr. Chambers from Monk Street, to make the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, Mrs. Lynch, on behalf of all of the stakeholders, we would like to extend our appreciation to you for all that you and your team does for this region in ensuring that our students receive an exceptional education at all levels. We thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We just asked him and he just did it. He's great. Clap him. He did not even prepare. We just put on this one. Thank you very much. And to show that there is no public on Monk Street, we now invite St. Territorial to deliver for us.
Which one? The one with...
Check.
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 Testing.
Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. We have some nice music time. Our name is Shall music teacher at St. Jago High School, and right here we have Mr. Garrett. Now I must say that St. Jago High School is a school about holistic development. Say holistic development. Yeah. Can I tell you that this young lady here was at chance throwing that discus thing? And she is also a gold medalist at JCBC. So what's the holistic development? Yes. So the band behind me here, they're all smart kids. Yes, they are. You get what I mean? Yes. And they're gold medalists also. So we're here to just perform for you. We want to big up all stakeholders here. We want to big up our vice principal, our past students that are here. We want to big up the lovely Miss Portia that said, Mr. Stewart, Mr. Garrett, and I become show them how Jago thing at you know? So let's enjoy ourselves. Sing along if you love to. Oh, one more thing here, Mr. Garrett, I say, bookings, we'll give you our contact number. Yes, because I know that you have many events. Can I tell you that I have a student at St. Jago High School also, and her last name is Lynch. She plays the guitar. Yes. Very well. So the band together come. Miss Lynch.
That's just all I need to find. Oh gosh, I ain't in tired of the same old things, but I'm gonna make the rules, wanna change the game. You'll be screaming my name, yeah. And I'm gonna take you places you never seen. You couldn't picture this in your wildest dreams. Don't fear, you're here with me. Let's get lit now. I'm gonna take you high. I'm really gonna blow your mind. Lit now. Gonna feel it in your soul, and maybe you lose control. Let's get lit There's so much I wanna show you. I'll take you high. There is so much I wanna show you. I'll take you high. Let's go, let's go. When you turn and you walk through the door, it hurts me so. See, when you turn and you walk through the door, it hurts me so. Said it hurts me so. When you look at me and you say goodbye, you make me cry. Said you make me cry. So listen to me, what I say to you. Breaking up is hard to do. Everybody knows it's hard to do. Hey. I want her in my life. I never knew anyone so one of a kind. Even though I sing it with me, she's royal. She's royal, yeah, so royal. I want her in my life. I never knew anyone so one of a kind. Until the night that I see her eyes. Oh, you're my queen, so supreme, yeah. The way she moved to her own beat, the way she moved to her own beat, the way she moved to her own beat, the way she moved to her own beat. It hurts me so, baby.
wonderful performance. At this time, I'm going to be collecting $40,000 from those items. Proceeds will go towards QEC 61 for our stakeholders meeting next year. So I want to send around a basket. Please give generously. Thank you. And I'm going to check it to make sure it can exceed, but it must not be below $40,000. Thank you. We have much to do as we will be trending. Thank you so much. Give it up again for St. Jago High School Band. Beautiful. And at this point in time, I'm going to be introducing and inviting Mrs. Reed Clark. At this point to come, Mrs. Reed Clark is the Community Relations Officer, Region 6, and Education Officer herself. And at this time, I'm going to be handing over the microphone to her to do this segment. Mrs. Reed Clark, over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. You have been here since 10 a.m. and you're still here, and we do appreciate it. We want to thank St. Jago for the lovely performance. Give them a round of applause, please. And as the teacher said, it's a holistic approach to education at St. Jago. I have a cousin, and I remember when we were both going to school, they would cuss him and say, the only thing you love to do is play drum. Now he's a drummer making so much more money than me dressed up in jacket and spike heels. So guess what? We have to approach education from a holistic approach as St. Jago is doing. Very good job, students. Excellent performance. I want to acknowledge the presence of our regional director and the team from the Ministry of Education, Region 6. Our mayor and our MP would have left. They had some other activities with some other stakeholders, but we do appreciate the fact that they took the time to spend with us today. At this section, we're going to be very short, don't worry. We have some stakeholders here from Ministry of National Security. We have Miss Claudina Beckford, and she will be highlighting what the police is doing as it relates to safety and security in schools. And then we will go directly into the section with National Water Commission, and they will be fielding your questions and they'll be giving you answers to them. We know that there's a serious concern regarding sewage and providing water to our schools. So at that point, you'll be able to ask your questions. So I now invite Ms. Claudina Beckford to the microphone just to highlight what the police is doing. And ladies and gentlemen, our QEC committee, their management committee, they have done an excellent job. Do you love this location? Yes, it's a beautiful location. There's excellent parking and it is very comfortable. So I want to thank you for the continued partnership. So thank you, Ms. Beckford, to you and your team for allowing us to have this space.
Thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon, everyone. I won't spend the time to call the names, but I'll just go into my minute. The JCF have been embarking on some programs. I know you said the safety, but I have to, since I'm on campus, I can't leave out the cadets academy that is right here on NPCJ campus, where they take kids, students that is from 17 years old, and they give them education right here on campus. They do their C6 and all of that, and they nurture them to become members of the security forces. The community safety and security programs within our schools there's a lot, but to highlight some of them, the police go into the schools to speak to students as it relates to safety and the do's and the don'ts. There's also going to schools to do search programs, because we have launched some programs where we go inside the schools within Spanish Town and research and find weapons that are the weapons that they use to attack each other in schools. They're also going to schools and have the one-on-one talk with the boys and also the girls. It is a very large program, and I can give you a contact number that you can call and ask them to put it in the community safety office. That's 984-2305. It's one number that works for the Spanish Town Police Station, so you'll have a little challenge there in getting through, but it's 984-2305. And my contact number is 439-5516. That's 439-5516. And I will relay whatever information. So if you need us, you can call us. We have a long, ongoing partnership, and nevertheless, due to lack of resources, we are still available, and we will always make ourselves available to you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, before you leave, we have a question.
Beckford, hi. We have quite a number of at-risk students in terms of behavior. I know formerly, years ago, you used to have quite a number of programs for behavior modification, like training camps and so on. What is it like now? What type of programs do you have, especially for secondary school students who exhibit issues with behavior?
All right, we have we have a child diversion program. Once they are giving problems, we take them from ages 6. It's a program that lasts up to 6 months. The child diversion lasts up to 6 months. And then you will call us and we'll take them in the program and have them administer into the program. We also have the partnership with the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, that is the former CDA. We have that partnership where we contact them, and if they're displaying uncontrollable, it has now been a part of the CDA mandate to deal with children who are uncontrollable.
Okay, thanks. Formerly, well, back in my day, I don't know if it's happening now. When I drive through Spanish Town and its environment, I realize our students really don't know how to use the roadway. I know before the police used to have a program where they, that side of the force, they used to go in and do road safety. Does that still exist? And I know, for example, Spanish Town Primary, when I pass there, really sometimes it's scary to even drive when school dismisses. So really, I really want the police to really look back in that program. I don't know what happened to it. Where I don't know if you're waiting on an invitation, I don't know if you do that, or the schools have to invite you, but there needs to be a strategic effort to really teach our students, and even for the adults too, how to use the roadway.
Yes, the CSS office, the Community Safety and Security Branch, does go into schools within the Spanish Town area and speak to the children as it relates to safety, road safety, how to use the road, how to cross the street, and all of that. But if you will, I will speak to the person in charge to have them to sensitize do more sensitization on this topic.
Is it an issue of budget? Because I used to see it even on the television, on social media, the ads or snippets, videos on it. You remember, don't it? We used to see that. No, I don't know what's happening where that is concerned. That used to be so beneficial when I was a child.
I would have to pass on that information to the Community Safety Branch for you, so let them begin or revisit that form of sensitization program we speak about.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, any other questions? Before she leaves, just give them your contact number again.
439-5516. That's 439-5516.
Thank you so much. We have the National Water Commission. They are with us this afternoon, and they have been with us from the first stakeholder meeting, and they are with us to the last stakeholder meeting, and we do appreciate it. Give them a warm round of applause, please. So we invite them to the microphone just to speak about what they're doing, and the principals, I encourage you to invite them into your schools. And at this time, you will have the opportunity to ask them all the questions that you want to ask them.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. So our core function at the National Water Commission is to provide potable water and dispose of sewage. But yet still we have a role to play in QE 61's
igniting the change through collaboration. And if you see me look excited this afternoon, it's because I'm a St. Diego high school old boy and I feel good, you know? It doesn't skin my teeth, it doesn't feel good, you know? I feel good. Alright, so, as I said, our core function is to provide potable water. For QE 61, it's an easy task for probably 95% of QE 61. So Carol, who used to be in a tough area, would have known a school with water challenges, and those challenges would have seen him probably 9 months out of the 12 months of no water. For QE 61, as I said, most persons have water. So we don't have that challenge. And we do. I probably don't know no principal in a QE 61. There are other QEs that the principal, you know, as they look, you see the name come up, you know them by name. You have to start showing them as Pintil principal, John Brown principal, because they will be calling you for you to be replenishing their tanks with truck water. That's how bad it is. This side of the world, water in the pipes for most times, and most of the schools in QE 61 have proper storage. So if water gone, we don't get immediate phone calls, and I must commend this QE 61 for that level of responsibility. The NWC also facilitates growth, the whole educational aspect of it, by facilitating tours. So you know that your town centre has one of the largest treatment plants in St. Catherine. That's the Spanish Town treatment plant, that's by Jobs Lane. And I always encourage persons who are near. I don't know if it's because, you know, sometimes schools want to go for an outing, they want to go far. But let me tell you this, the treatment plant is a class of a facility to do a tour. Also, we have wastewater facilities within St. Catherine that it would save the budget. Instead of having hire buses to go far and pay the 40,000 to 50,000 to go so far, come over treatment plant, man. We're ready to give you a tour and educate the kids. Also, the NWC is one of the companies who is willing to facilitate what we call career development. So if you want your kids to visit the NWC, we talk to them, engineers, mechanics, plumbers, you name it. We are willing to come in and participate and play our role in igniting change through collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from National Water Commission? Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I know you say you don't know of any schools, but you said 95% of the school, but Tradiga Park would fall in the 5%. I just want to speak to you after so we can get communications with you so that the school can have, we have trucked water. For some reason there's no water coming on to the school compound, and we'd like that to change.
All right, no problem. I'll come into you right now. From this point, it sounds like a simple solution, because if water is in the area, which I know water is in the area, we just have to do the troubleshooting to see why the water is not on the property. It could have been a blocked line. It's the first to my attention, so we can fix it quick and fast. Don't worry about it.
Any other questions?
Our school is beside Union Estate.
Which school is that, sir?
What's the Martin Technical High School? It's beside Union Estate. I'm wondering if the Water Commission has anything to do with the sewage treatment plant there.
All right, so the sewage treatment plant is our facility. There are some technical issues there. The team has been mandated to resolve those issues by now and this weekend. So they are mobilizing, pulling out all the stops to correct that by this weekend. So your Easter Monday should be a breath of fresh air.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions? Okay, no questions. Thank you, sir. Just to note, some of our stakeholders came earlier, but based on the time, they also had a meeting with the mayor, so they had to leave. So we apologize on their behalf. Any other stakeholder in the room? Outside of National Water Commission and the police? Any of my other agencies? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the presentation was made by the QEC convener. I didn't hear any feedback. Do you have any before we close this section? Okay, good. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been the most important part of the session, because guess what? We provided an opportunity for you to give feedback on our performance in Region 6, in QEC 601, and also you got a chance to speak with the National Water Commission and the police, and that's very important to us. Okay, someone else has a question. Go ahead.
So much a question, it's a concern.
Yes.
I remember growing up in the primary school, and we were told that a young goat is a kid. Now I have a problem with us referring to people's children as kids. It bothers me. And I hope we will desist from giving these forums referring to children as kids. They are children. We do not have to do what they do elsewhere. We can be our own individuals and do what's best for our children.
Okay, just to note that the children share the same sentiments. I made reference to my children at one point. Kids come here and they corrected me to remind me that they are children and I should refer to them as children. So that means that our teachers, it's a good indication that our teachers are doing the correction in our schools. So we apologize if someone said that, but our children are correcting us. So we want to thank them for that. Yes, go ahead, Miss.
Yes, it's not really a question, more like a suggestion.
Yes, and we welcome those.
Okay, based on the fact that I've been hearing terms used here, like, for example, holistic approach,
yes.
You know, and all of that, holistically approach, and you know, and we I've heard also about, here bringing the education system to a level, you know, a higher level, and you know, with this, I'm thinking of a state-of-the-art museum here in Spanish Town, shadowed probably by the QEC 61, or an archive, because if we are looking at holistically development within the education system and a boost to the, boost in the education system, I think having that museum or an archive, based on the past, would also be a good concern. As I said, it's just a recommendation or suggestion.
Okay, and it is noted. Thank you so much. What's your name, Miss? What's your name?
Valerie Williams.
And you represent?
Well, from a community-based organization, the Territorial Park Community Learning Center, along with the Territorial Park Primary School.
Okay, thank you so much. So this will be raised in another setting with other stakeholders, and we will give you credit for your recommendation, and we will see what can happen in the future. Thank you so much. Someone else, go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm raising a general question, and specifically to the director, and the fact that our team is here with her. I'm a stakeholder. In fact, I'm a retired teacher. Stakeholder in the YMCA. And I noticed while she was speaking, she mentioned something about YMCA. She's going to be treating them better this year. And I'm happy to hear that. My question is, YMCA has been doing a very good job over the years. It should be on the record here. Students, we have been getting from the very low end, from GSAT days, getting 0s and 10% and so. And these teachers have been working with these students and bringing them up to grade 9 achievement level, and they sit the exam, get back into the high school, catching up with those who left them at grade 6. That's a grade 6 student. Now, over the years, we recognize, and the principal can verify that most of the students are not being sent to the YMCA again. So the board has decided that they are going to sensitize the primary teachers. And those who are leaving the YMCA, the primary schools, and are at that very low level, instead of sending everybody into the high school at grade 7, send them to the YMCA. And I probably think right. And the teachers have been doing such a wonderful job with them, catching them back up to level. And they went in and do well. Students have gone into school like Jonathan Grant, and they left with 6 and 7 subjects after coming into the YMCA not recognizing CAT. And so what the board has been doing now is trying to get to the primary school, to sensitize the parents. We can't force them, so that when the results come out from them, they can make a choice as to whether you're going to work with them, where they are on one level, they are all comfortable. Because I have, as a retired teacher, I've seen with students in the high school going to the reading classes, have to be hiding and sneaking. So it affects their personality. And I'm suggesting to you, I'm recommending to you, that you make it a priority to send them to these schools so that the teachers can work with them.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, may I have your name again, please?
My name is Lenford Johnson. I'm a retired teacher.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. We accept your recommendations. We have some challenges, though. Colleagues, as I said yesterday, and I say every day, we have it's turning out that we're now having more space than children. For those of you who are following the statistics in terms of our population, you're seeing that we have a significant decline in terms of our population. So we're moving from over 60,000 children sitting GSAT to last year 34,000, or probably we're less than that, sitting PEP, I should have said. That is serious because 2 of my schools wrote to me, my high schools wrote to me between August and September to say, Stacy, help me with your school. What's the number again that we're placed there? From PEP. Glenville. Yes, what's the number? I didn't want to name the school, sorry. It was 20, a little over 20, I think it was 27 students that we placed in a high school in a very rural area. And there's another school in Portmore, or the placement for that school, the number of students placed there was, I think, 65. If my memory serves me right, I see the officer shaking his head. A high school, and all I can give them is 65 children. And this is a brand new structure. The institution has brand new structure, yes, newly built, of course, and we're not able to populate that institution properly. So you see, we have a problem. So in former days, when the numbers were high, we were able to place students at the Y, and the government would pay per capita for the children in the private institution. Hydel High School, when it was private, assisted us as well in terms of those private placements. You realize now that Hydel has transitioned to a full public school. And so, you know, students will be formally placed there for September. And the students that we have there now were primarily placed there on transfer for last September. And that's really how they got a population to start, because no student was placed there at the beginning of this school year. So you see, we have a crisis on our hands. Colleagues, if you don't encourage young people to have children, then we're going to continue to have this discussion. So the one child and the two children will not work, it won't cut it. You understand? So next year we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about it the other year, and the other year we're going to be talking about, because if you look, and of course you can go on to Google and check, you'll see that there has been a decline for the past, I think, 10 years. If my memory serves me right, there has been a decline each year in terms of the key area of the population, which is ages 12 for PEP, GSAT PEP. The numbers are just going down in their 10,000s and 20,000s and that kind of thing, not looking good at all. So, as always, my recommendation, when I respond to the schools who write for more children, if I don't have children, I can't give you children, okay? So my response has always been, we have to reorganize our programs so that the programs are attractive and so that parents will have the option of selecting these types of schools and programs for their children. And that's the only thing I can do to ensure that you have a population ready for grade 7. Yes, sir.
My concern, though, is it's an older population, and you said I understand that. But when you have a level, like I've been into primary school, grade 6 students reading at grade 1 and below, and you send them into the high school with the rest, I shudder to think what's going to happen. Even if we put the remedial teachers in there, let's say there are 2 per school, it is unlikely to work until we can probably populate these high schools more with more remedial teachers. It is unlikely to work. No, I don't like to throw cold water on the thing. But let's say we have these students who are way down the bottom, because the YMCA has developed a reputation of taking those from literally nothing and bring them to something. So instead of sending them into Jonathan Grant with those scores, let's still send them. Because once the parents get that name on it, even if the parent gets certain school, they are trying to get them back into St. Catherine High School. They're trying to get them to Jago High School with the 0 and the 10%. So you as the ministry now have to take the initiative and say, this is where it belongs. Although that school needs some more, let's send them to YMCA. The teachers are there, they're working with them, and they will, and it's much better in the interest of the student. We're thinking about the students' interest.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just to add to what the director said, parents choose the school, to be honest, right? And the onus is on you to advertise the offerings that you have. Because parents will gravitate to a school that they can see that there will be changes. So sometimes it may seem like the government should do this and do that, but sometimes if persons don't know what you're selling, they won't be able to buy. So we ask that you advertise a little bit more so that persons are fully aware of the services you offer. As a QEC, if you notice, you have your branding right here and so on. You know, where's your YMCA shirt? I need to see a YMCA shirt, sir. And I'm saying all of this, not just for your school, but for others in the room to understand that if people don't know about your product, they won't come to buy. So we ask that, because I am the Community Relations Education Officer, I go to all these different meetings. I would love to see a flyer from you, just to share with my other stakeholders of what's happening. When you spoke about taking one child from one level to the other, that's an excellent story. I'd love to see that. I'd love to post that on our Facebook page. I'd love to post that on our Instagram page. I'd love to tell our parents, take your students to YMCA. But if you don't provide that information to me in a little attractive manner, I will be able to share it as well. Do you understand? And today I expected some flyers too, that we could walk away, drop it in the lobby at the office. Okay, yes, go ahead, sir. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate that comment and the recommendation you made. Thanks, yes.
Our booth, the YMCA booth, the table is outside.
Is outside.
With
excellent. Right. Yes, that's what we want to hear. Very Very good, very good. So that means everyone in this room, when we go outside, will be walking to your booth out there. Awesome, great. Any other questions? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the question and answer section is officially completed. I now hand over to the moderator.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Terry. Thank you very much for that. And let me thank the persons who have asked questions. At this time, I want to say that we have heard enough. Some salient points coming from many different speakers, including our main presenter today, Mrs. TRACY-ANN LYNCH, our Territorial Officer. And as we continue to transform education in a collaborative way, and as we are trending, let us continue to do so in a united force. And at this time, I want to call our principal to do the vote of thanks. So, Miss Dallas, YWCA, YMCA, I saw this in the top too. Yes. Let us give her a round of applause as she will now do the vote of thanks. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. You know, funnily, every time something was thrown out in a QEC group, I looked because I hate public speaking. But here I am. Just like the quote mentioned earlier in devotion, I have been led, so I'm right here. So I'm here to raise the vote of thanks to all who made this day a success. Cicero, a Roman philosopher, was one who upheld principles. And in upholding those principles, he mentioned this: gratitude is not only the greatest virtue, but is the parent of all others. And for that reason, I am here to say thank you to our Masters of Ceremonies, Dr. Walton Smith and Small, and Mr. Roger Curlew. And it was good to hear them reiterate the need for our youngsters, our children, to be reintegrated into the church so that they can learn the values and attitudes that will help us to continue on the path of development and stability. To our MP, Denise Daly, she highlighted also the need for schools, school personnel, teachers to really promote autonomy in schools. Why? We cannot really lean on entirely those who are at the top, legislature. So I'm looking forward to hearing that said in Parliament as well. His Worship the Mayor, Norman Scott, in his absence, for saluting educators who, against all odds, have been able to maintain some level of normality in spite of the challenges. It's not often that we get props for what we do. To our director, Madam Forbes Hall, I don't think I heard much of what you said, but this I heard, your pledge to the wise. So I'm going to be holding you to that, ma'am. And Mrs. Lynch can vouch, we have been balling out for the longest while, right? So just upon the eve of me thinking of retiring after almost 30 years in this business, I'm hearing something good. So I'm holding you to that, madam. Thank you very much. And you also highlighted something that's very important, the need for us to be honest in how we speak about our findings in education and how we treat with these needs. Mrs. Lynch, our convener, your presentation was a very fulsome one, Lots of updates. I don't think any of us could really keep up with her. So maybe you will need to send us some reminders. Thank you very much, Madam. To all our education officers, Mr. Floyd Kelly, Mrs. Morris Webb, Mrs. Webb Parker, and all the other heads of units in the Ministry of Education, thank you very much for your time here. I'm sure there are many other things or places that you could be attending to. Our chairpersons, chairmen and women, other members of school board, we want to express sincere gratitude. You have been our guide through some very difficult times. Thank you very much. And to our parents that showed up to support and to promote their role in the success of the education process, thank you very much. And I must applaud again the two gentlemen who are here. As was said earlier, oftentimes we fuss at the men for not playing their roles, but when they do, we do not really recognize them. So today is one of those days that we need to recognize these gentlemen. Thank you very much for your attendance here. Our teachers who are here supporting. I almost had to say nothing because my wife's staff is here speaking for me. Thank you very much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, those who are benefiting from the live stream, thank you also for being here. It is not just my belief, and hopefully yours as well, that this QEC conference really turned on the ignition, which is critical for the changes that we wish to see and for the collaboration we wish to have. So again, to all, thank you very much, and let me hope that this is not the end, but the beginning of something beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Principal Dallas. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Davis wishes to say something.
I forgot to say this in my presentation. If you realize, Jonathan Grant has a lot of awards and achievements, but due to the transition and the timing, did not get to upload their achievements and their awards. So I want to apologize on behalf of the school. And if you look on social media, especially Facebook, Jonathan Grant is all over. A lot of wonderful things are happening. But you must understand that the principal just left, we have an interim principal, and so Sir's trying to get his foot in, and so it was very difficult to get all those information from the school. But they have a whole heap. If you go on Facebook, you'll see wonderful things are happening. As a matter of fact, Jonathan Grant High now, if you look at what was happened 20 years ago, Jonathan Grant High now is a school of choice. Highly demanded. When the parents come to the region, I can tell you, 80% or 90% of them, they want their child to go to Jonathan Grant High in comparison to any other high school in the region. So things are happening. They have rebranded the school, right? And so I know Dr. Anko would have wanted us to showcase the nice things happening at the school. But due to certain circumstances, that could not be done. You understand? Thank you. I had to say it.
Thank you for that, Mrs. Lynch. Ladies and gentlemen, do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. It was nice having you here. And lunch is now been served on the outside. See you next year. Not sure of the venue, but you'll hear from us. But see you next year. QEC 61, we did it. We did it.
I want you to give a big applause to the team from the National Police College. Especially, I must say, clap them please, I have to say, Constable White and Sergeant Graham, the IT persons. Very lovely space. And Corporal Red Brown. So thanks to the National Police College for having us.
Yes, they will be seeing us again. As we will be using the facility. So thank you very much for joining us, and it was a wonderful day. I hope you actually acknowledge and enjoy the program. Thank you.